We're officially starting now, so.
Yo, what up, bro?
What up, dude?
Okay, we're already underway, so Johnny's gonna do his thing.
What's up, Dylan?
What's up, dude?
Nothing much. All right, so thank you guys for coming on to the podcast. Just so everybody knows, just say who you are and what you do in the band. So, Joe, you can start.
I am Joe Nash, bassist and backup vocalist, number one.
Dylan, you're sitting between me and Joey, so you can go next.
Dylan, I play lead guitar and sing backup vocals.
Brian, I play guitar and lead vocal.
Jim Bobby, drums.
James, why do you go by Jim Bobby? Is there a backstory, or is there... No?
My name.
Oh, okay. All right, fair enough. All right, so basically what I want to try to do is try to figure out where you get all your creativity from and how you get your ideas for your songs and what covers you do and why, and basically all that. So basically kind of like a icebreaker question. This is for everybody. Just pick one, choose when you want to answer. Is if you could have dinner with anybody, dead or alive, and fictional, who would you have dinner with? And it could be only one person, so you can't
it has
do the...
to be fictional?
No, it could be dead, alive, or fictional.
fictional. Oh,
I said
okay,
and,
gotcha.
so
Dead,
sorry
alive,
about that.
or fictional. Okay.
So,
What about dead, alive, and fictional?
yeah, I mean, you could do...
Yeah. What about all three?
I think I don't know. Well, I don't know. I don't want to assume, but I think Dylan and I might have the same person. But,
Each other?
and it happened last night. It was wonderful. I'll kick it off. I would love to have a dinner with Kurt Cobain.
Any reason for that?
Well, you know, we kind of just missed, for the most part, we kind of just missed that era, you know, as far as living in it.
Yeah.
You're kind of young, or, you know, you're only exposed to the music that your parents listen to.
Yeah, absolutely.
At that age, so, but getting into music, I know all of us got into music at an early age because none of us could throw a football, but with the exception of Dylan, I think Dylan was more sports oriented than any of us. But I getting in at such an early age, that particular person had a big influence on me.
So you would say he's somebody that inspires what you do, and...
Yeah, even still today, I mean, even, you know, maybe not so much directly.
You dropped Dylan.
I dropped Dylan.
Dylan's on the phone. I don't know if we got that point
Dylan's
across.
coming. Yeah, Dylan's over the phone, and he's coming through a Ibanez bass amp, practice bass amp.
Pretty
But
well.
yeah, it sounds great. Yeah, I mean, not so much directly anymore, I'd say, because, you know, you get to a point with a band, I'm sure everybody does, it's your favorite band,
Yeah.
and you listen to them ad nauseum, and at one point you just kind of got everything out of it that you can, but even just still today, between how he lived his life, his, you know, the way he approached music,
Yeah, absolutely.
the way he approached songwriting, you know, with such a simplistic, you know, he had such a simplicity to his writing, music-wise, but it made, you know, to have such a simplistic approach to music, and to take that simplistic approach and basically define a generation.
You have a problem?
Yeah, keep fucking dropping Dylan. So anyway, not to, you know.
No, yeah, no,
Mike
cool,
here,
cool.
But I just think continuously, I mean, there's so many people that are dead that I would love to meet.
Yeah, absolutely.
But as far as sitting down, I mean, I'd probably be too fucking nervous to even.
Yeah.
But as far as somebody, you know, that's a big one for me.
Right on.
That's number one for me.
So Dylan, would you say the same? Was Brian right in
I
that
gotta know.
regard?
Probably not.
You know, he is right, but just for because that probably is who I would say. I mean, if it was going to be a musician, that would absolutely be him. But just for the sake of not using the same answer, I would probably say Ernest Hemingway.
Oh,
wow.
Son of a bitch.
Wow.
I've read a few of his books. I mean, they're long and shit, but like that dude, like I love that quote from him, like writing is nothing. You just sit down at a typewriter and bleed. Like,
Oh
I really
shit,
like to
I like that.
talk to a guy that
God
looks
damn.
at shit that way. And I don't know, just that dude. It's like everything kind of like a lot of his writing. It stems from like pain.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
kind of like where a lot of his inspiration comes from, and I relate to that a lot. So Brian was right. I would have picked Cobain, but just Hemingway my number 2, I guess.
That's a fucking.
That's cool, man. I have to be honest. I didn't expect that at all.
I didn't see that.
That's a cool answer. Joe, what about you? You
Um,
had all this time to think. Better be good.
I would like to have dinner. I don't know his name.
Okay.
I'd like to have dinner
Come on.
with the with the lead singer of Imagine Dragons.
Okay.
Mostly because I want to ask him how a terrible band can be so popular.
Yeah.
Like, what do they
Yeah.
do? Like, what do they do?
I wonder if you'd wear shorts to the dinner.
Probably. But like, what is a band? And I'm sorry, Mr. Dragons. I didn't mean to be terrible. But a band that that has okay music, gets to where they got. Like, what did you do in this environment? I can't ask Kirk Hammett or James Hetfield or Lars Ulrich because they lived in a different time. And I can only think of a band where you'd see them perform at the Grammys, maybe win a Grammy, perform all these high-level places, tour the nation, sell out stadiums.
Yeah.
And listen, talented musicians, I'm not saying that, but I don't see their music being as impactful as a Led Zeppelin or
Yeah.
Metallica or
Somebody's
anything like
got to
that.
stop telling them to shopping at Journeys. Like they get their big ass shirts from Journeys.
Yeah.
So
And again, it's not to shit on them.
Yeah.
I said terrible as a joke. I more mean like you were able to do a thing and make it popular, but let's face it, with music that's not, people aren't screaming about it.
Yeah,
People
yeah.
aren't raving about it like they would, stuff like that. If I sat with Cobain, I'd fiddle with my burrito the whole time. I wouldn't know exactly what to say to the guy.
Yeah.
I all these guys, I
That's what
barely
I'm
talked
afraid
to,
of.
the lead singer of Pantera when I met him. I would never be able to get through a dinner with any of these people.
Yeah.
The lead singer of Imagine Dragons, I'd be totally fine.
Dan Reynolds is who you're looking for, by the way.
So
Dan Reynolds is who you're
Dan.
looking for.
So
Or
I've
no,
a
even Shinedown, the guy Brett Smith from Shinedown, how he makes, so let's say a music that I like, right? I like Shinedown music. They're still kind of in this generation where they were able to be successful doing it.
Yeah.
How the hell did you do it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So would you say, in like kind of like an opposite way of like someone you admire inspires you what to do, someone that you kind of feel like, I don't understand why they're in this position, and I want to try to get to that level. Do you think that is kind of like in a way an inspiration? Kind of, it makes you want to work harder because you feel that a band that you feel isn't talented, that maybe you can be in that. Do you know what I'm saying?
I want to steal their idea. I want to get to the point where it's like you did something.
Yeah.
And you can't always replicate it. You can't always take somebody's formula and make it work for you like that. But yeah, I mean, it's like they obviously did something.
Absolutely.
That
they used the formula.
Yeah.
Joe has an interesting approach to that too, because we know bands on the local level that we that start to be friends of ours or not friends of ours, or acquaintances that start to gain momentum, and you want to ask what
Yeah.
you're doing to
So
make
it's not
that.
even necessarily a negative, like, I hate this guy.
No, I
you're just
don't think so.
curious.
No,
You want to know how to get to where they are, in a way.
I said the terrible thing to get a laugh out of your listeners.
Joe made a face that you can't see. And he
but
still
but
is.
my point is that it's just, to me, in my humble opinion, your music doesn't blow the socks off of people. But
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
playing these, you've gained this level of notoriety. And again, to go back to it, maybe Brent Smith is a better example.
Yeah.
Where, okay, your music is incredible, right?
Yeah.
In our opinion, music is incredible, and you've done all this stuff. What did you do? Did you what's the formula in this in this decade?
Absolutely.
What do you do?
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
James, how about you? You don't have to answer if you don't want. If you don't have a...
No, I have an answer.
All right.
I have the setting laid out.
Okay.
Like, I want my dinner to be exact. Well, no, it's not exactly like it is the Last Supper.
Okay.
But instead of Jesus,
All right.
just have Freddie Mercury be the host.
Okay.
And
I
then
knew it.
and then when Da Vinci paints that shit, that's on like every, right? It was Da Vinci.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Or Michelangelo. Or Da
He was
Vinci.
a painter.
I think he painted.
Yeah.
Yes.
Who
All
painted
the
the Last Supper?
all the Ninja Turtles are
Ask
Renaissance
the fucking
artists.
artsy practice.
Yeah,
over here.
Hemingway. Yeah. So.
All right. And you want to elaborate why, or you just that's it?
Yeah, because I mean, it's Freddie.
Because
Mercury.
Freddie Mercury,
And
Queen.
it's the Last Supper.
No,
And-
absolutely.
And to be fair and to clarify, James worshipped Freddie Mercury
Oh, yeah.
far before
Yeah,
there was
yeah.
a movie about him.
Yeah,
100%.
So
yeah. No, absolutely.
it's not one of those.
I probably should have started this, but you guys are the band N.A.S.H. I just went ahead and went like, say your name. What do you
That's
do? And just didn't even drop that.
We'll get
Yeah, this is gonna sound like a stupid question because most of you will have the last name Nash. But where did the name come from? Was that like a natural? This band is gonna be N.A.S.H, or
Yeah.
was that like?
I mean, honestly, that to be honest, because this came up at one point, especially, and Dylan brought it up, and he had a great point. When we started gaining momentum, and we got the management, the record label, and everything, that kind of came up. The name of the band kind of came up, and I thought about it seriously. I was like, wow, man, I never really thought of changing the name of what we are, but it kind of, we started off, like I'm sure most bands do, in the basement. Probably unlike most bands, we started off with our father playing drums just for lack of knowing other musicians. I know everybody sitting here did, but I spent a great deal of my teenage years, high school years. I didn't go to, I wasn't going to parties every weekend. I was downstairs trying to learn the new Metallica song, or, so the better part of my childhood was spent learning how to play and sing, and then he came on his drums, and he actually came up with the name of the band.
Cool.
So it was, I don't know if it was a ego-driven or
Yeah.
just for lack of,
Are you saying that your dad made up the word Nash?
Yeah, he named himself. Our last name is actually something completely different.
Now, do the dots represent anything in the name, or is that just?
No, that was always just a way to just make it pop a little bit.
Okay, cool.
We went through a stage, I think, when James joined early on, where we were, telling the audience, come up with an acronym for the band name, but that's lame, and it doesn't mean anything. They're really just a pop, and then later on, we started capitalizing the H at the end. That's all for aesthetics. That's just to make it kind of stand out. But you know what? It's easy to remember. The only downfall to having a band name like that, and I know Dylan will agree with me, because we've had this conversation before. I think is when you have a name like that, usually what you get is the and band at the beginning and the end.
Oh yeah.
So if you have a one name, or if it's a name, and if it's a one word name, you usually end up with the N.A.S.H band, especially if it's, some chucklehead that's somebody that's emceeing the night, and it's his night, it's his time in the spotlight, and
You take a lot of what was I gonna say? It's hard having a name like that.
Yeah.
It takes work to be able to promote, especially in this day and age.
Yeah.
A band like that, especially with Crosby, Stills, Nash.
Yeah.
Nashville.
Do you guys think there's a reason for people saying the N.A.S.H band or the N.A.S.H?
I just think
anything?
it's that. And like I said, I know we've had this talk, joke or whatever when we're doing our thing, is when you have a name like that, it just ends up happening, especially if it's one word.
Yeah.
And if it's a name, like I said, especially. It's just something that people gravitate toward. It could be sitting there staring them in the face, Nash, just like that, and just for lack of paying attention. I mean, me, if I had that job and I were announcing bands for the night, which we do a lot of the time, we try to find out the name of every band that's playing, especially if it's a big ticket and there's a lot of bands on the ticket.
Yeah.
We try to learn every band's name so that when we get up, we say, "Hey, how about this band and that band?"
Yeah.
And you want to get the name of the band right.
No, absolutely.
It's just
Our
sign of
villains
respect.
get the name right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So as I mentioned before, the whole thing about this podcast is creativity and all that. How would you guys define what creativity is, and why do you think someone goes, I want to pick up a guitar and do this. I want to go on stage and act. Do you think there's a reason? Because some people, this is their lives, and that's like a thing that that could be dangerous, because if they mess up or if they're just forgotten, their livelihood could be over. So why do you think people would go on the path of creativity?
Yeah, I think everybody has that in them a little bit. They want to be, you want to be. I mean, there are people that don't like to be the center of attention and don't like to be in the spotlight.
Absolutely.
But I think deep inside everybody, there's that little bit that wants to be the, the talk of the town, the toast of the town, and for us, well, I think everybody should answer individually, but, like I said, I wasn't good at anything else.
Yeah.
I was not. I was not a sports guy. I tried out for one team once and I got cut, and that was the end of it. And I just I was playing guitar in the basement. That wasn't the the reason for picking up guitar, to play in a band that would eventually be signed and making its way, but it was a happy accident.
Yeah.
But it's I don't want to give the cliche. It's a outlet. When we're together writing, it's I think most I don't know if therapeutic's the right word either. It's just you go from Dylan has a riff or I have a riff. You go from like a little seed.
Yeah.
And then it turns into this fucking forest.
Yeah.
Even a title of a song.
Yeah. Every bit of it. I mean, every bit of it's exciting. From chord one to verse last. It's just a from the recording process to
Absolutely.
which we love, to playing it out live, to fucking seeing for the first time somebody in the audience singing the song. It's just like, if there ever was a reason to keep doing it, those are the reasons.
Absolutely.
That, like I said, that's me.
Absolutely. I'm just gonna stop for once. All right. So Joe, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, and the topic of songwriting, you know, it's like Brian said. Sometimes it starts with a riff. You know, sometimes it starts with just something that you're feeling. You know, and everything has a mood, right? So if you're gonna take a state of mind that you're in and kind of put it to paper, I think that's, you know, that's kind of how we do it. You know, it might start with a riff, it might start with a song title. I kind of like that. Brian does that a lot, I think, where he actually comes up with the name of a song that probably has a generic feel to it, but it's but then you write a song around it.
Oh.
Kind of do that. Or on the, you know, opposite, like, you know, me, I think I'm a little more like I have a feeling and I don't really know a riff, I don't really know a title, you know, and then that's kind of how I would go.
So do you base what the song is about based on the title? So if you go the editor and you go, okay, this song is going to be about, and then you write the song, or you just kind of write the song and then what it's about comes to you?
Well,
Or...
like Joe said, and I'd be interested to hear Dylan's take on this too. But like, you know, if you do it that way, if it's like a title thing, usually it's something a little deeper than like, you know, the editor. The editor kind of came out of after writing the lyrics to the song. But
Okay.
we have a trying to think of October.
Yeah.
October is a perfect example. That was kind of something that month always stuck out. Favorite month, favorite time of year. There's some important things in my life that happened in that month.
Cool.
And the song kind of grew around it.
Oh, cool.
And the song itself really, October's not mentioned in the song.
Yeah.
Nowhere in the song, but everything that's built around the song has to do with the title. So
Yeah.
it all depends on which way you approach it. But I've done that. I've done it both ways. I've done it where the song comes first. I've done it where the riff comes first. I've done it where the lyrics or some sort of free form poetry is involved, and then you kind of chip away and make a song out of it. Then you come up with a title. But
Oh, that's cool. What about you, Dylan?
I mean, I'm kind of the opposite. Like, I generally do it the same way every time. Like, and for me, the hardest part is coming up with the title. I hate coming up with the title. I usually fucking do that last, or I don't do it at all. And I'm like, yo, guys, here's a song. Fucking you name it, because I don't want it. But for me, and this kind of just depends on, I mean, I'll go through months where I really can't finish anything because of writer's block or whatever.
The name of a song could make or break the actual song itself. Like,
yeah,
so.
Well, it kind of, I feel like it depends on the song, like some songs, like if it's an upbeat kind of a song or a love song or something, not that the name doesn't mean as much, but a lot of times it ends up, you take something from the chorus or, the main line in the chorus or something, and that kind of ends up being the title or whatever.
Yeah.
Because you kind of figure, like, oh, people are going to, when they don't know that song, because that's kind of how I always think of it, is like, because I've gone to shows, like the first time I saw Stone Sour, I didn't know any of their music other than through Glass.
Yeah.
When I got home, I ended up searching their songs by lyrics that I remember.
Yeah. I do that too.
And, like I said, so like for me, depending on what the song, like if it's a darker song or like a moodier song, I kind of like naming it something that really doesn't come up in the song, like
Yeah.
because of what it means to me, you know what I mean? Like I can name a song something and nobody really knows why it's named that. I do, and that's kind of like the beauty of art anyway, is that everybody interprets it differently, but only sometimes that's the best part of it, is that you really don't know where that came from or whatever. Like only the guy that fucking wrote it knows that.
Yeah. What comes to mind to me is actually the Smashing Pumpkins Bullet with Butterfly Wings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like every time I listen to that song, I love the song. I'm
Yeah.
just like, I don't understand why
Yeah.
this is called that. I
Well,
think that's awesome.
Enter Sandman.
Yeah.
You
Wait,
know,
what?
Like, there's. Did I say Enter Sandman?
Well, no, technically he doesn't say Enter Sandman.
No.
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought you were laughing because they say it.
I
going
forgot
through
how
my
the
head, I
song
was
goes.
like, what did he say? Enter Sandman.
That was my bus. Sorry about
No,
that.
I think
Alright.
that's kind of a cool point. Even Brian brings up October. There's lyrics in that song that are, I mean, decade plus old. I mean, there's references in that song that are decade plus old memories that,
Yeah.
you know, it's crazy stuff. And even if the newer album you listen to Editor, you
Yeah.
know, there's references in there that you know, people are gonna interpret their own way, but the people who wrote it are the only ones who are really gonna get it. And you know, kind of going on to another part of the songwriting process is like you know, Dylan said Stone Sour, Corey Taylor, man, he's such a, the way he writes music, you know, some people, you know, some people who write music, it sounds so juvenile,
Yeah.
you know, like
Yeah.
they're just trying to rhyme two words.
Yeah.
You know, guys like Corey Taylor, and even Eminem has this great interview. He talks about the way he bends words to fit,
Yeah.
to make his
Yeah.
lyrics work, and the way he talks about it's like you can just barely get what he's trying to say,
Yeah.
but he knows what he means. He
Yeah.
knows, he's like, I got to bend this word to fit this thing, and it's crazy to listen to guys like that work.
Yeah, they do. I mean, that I'm sure it's big in with rap and stuff like that, where you're, you know, the name of the game is rhyming, not being cheesy.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
it used
Yeah.
to be.
Yeah,
Right, that's mumbling.
Yeah, no, that's true.
But
But they do that. Even singing is like that. You know, you have to. There's vowel modifications. There's stuff that you do that, you know, not only to rhyme easier, but also to fit words that you want to use. You know, that can't be anything else but that word.
It's non-negotiable.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. And you
That's also just a cool part of the English language in general. Like,
oh yeah,
people's diction and people's accents or whatever. Like, it actually happened on Ditch, if you remember, Brian, when I wrote the lyrics to the chorus,
yeah.
and they don't really rhyme.
No,
you know?
but
my diction is
fits.
terrible. Like, I don't pronounce things the right way, really, when I sing.
Right,
And
right.
Brian does. So, like, that's an interesting thing.
That's very true.
That's
Cool. That's cool.
That's very
Yeah,
true.
it's an interesting thing with the two of us writing songs anyway.
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
It's kind of coming from two completely different fucking mindsets, but
And
Yeah.
it works so damn
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
That's what.
Do you guys ever struggle with creative differences, and how's something that you can kind of get over that?
James? Because it does happen.
You
It
don't-
definitely happens.
You don't really get over it.
Yeah.
You just, well, no, you get over it. It's just, we have a benefit of having to wake up in the morning and still be who we are. Like,
Yeah.
like, you know, I even consider Dylan, if Dylan gets upset, you know, he's not blood, but like, if he's upset, I'm upset.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
That's, but like, with us, it's one of those things that we've just patterned the band so much to the way we just live our lives.
No,
that
absolutely.
When we have an issue, Joe will throw me to the ground and beat the shit out of me.
That happens.
And that's how you solve creative differences.
That's you know what? I'm sure you ask any band, any successful band, and part of the writing process is coming at it. You know.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's
Absolutely.
hitting up against each other because that's really where.
It's spraining a foot.
Yeah.
Sure, there's a story to that.
Yeah.
Slides of belly.
That's really where the magic happens, you know. And that's actually also where you define yourselves and your strength as a you know, not as only as a group, as a band, as artists, but also
absolutely.
as businessmen.
No, yeah.
Because you have to wake up the next morning and say, all right, we have to get over this hump somehow because we We have things we have investments.
Mhm.
We're invested both, financially, physically, mentally, everything that we do will, ripple effect
Yeah.
what we've built, and that just adds to the foundation in my mind.
Absolutely.
You have to have that. You have to have that. It's like a relationship. You have your relationship, and they say that people that don't fight don't last because you're either not saying something when something's bothering you, you're just letting it go or letting it build up, and then you wind
Then
up.
it explodes.
Yeah, exactly.
And then everything just comes out. And,
No, but when we for the most part, some things you just let you let go of, but for the most part, if there's an issue, and we usually do it in another setting, we'll stop, break, go our separate ways, and then come back at eat over dinner or something, and go over whatever.
No, absolutely. Dylan, you mentioned creative writer's block. Writer's block is what I meant to say.
That's
So-
funny. I can't think of the word. Writer's block.
Yeah. So for anyone in that position, what's the advice you would give to get over something like writer's block, and how do you do it?
Well, I feel like that's like the human element of music is because that shit happens to everybody. Everybody I know that writes music
Just happened
hits
to
a
me now.
block like that, and I think everybody, different shit works for different people. For me, I have to just walk away from it, move on. Sometimes, for instance, I've had a song I've been working on for like 5 years.
Oh, okay.
And I still haven't finished it because it's just, I would rather, instead of forcing the wrong piece of music onto that song or the wrong lyrics or whatever it is, and not be happy with it or whatever, because certain songs, I'm sure Brian can attest to this too, like certain songs you write and they're just good how you wrote them originally, and you just doesn't really need anything. Other songs you kind of get attached to, and then you kind of get like crazy about it, you know what I mean? And it's like, this song, I would rather not compromise the song by trying to finish it just to be done with it, you know what I mean?
Yes.
So for me,
Totally.
I fucking just let it sit, I let it marinate, I'll write other shit, or I'll move on from it, and whatever, and there's a lot of happy accidents with that too, like, you'll be working on another song, or just, kind of noodling around, whatever, and you'll stumble upon something that sounds good, and then you're like, oh, hang on a second, let me move. I wonder if this would work on that song,
Yes.
And that's how I finished some of the songs that I've gotten hosed up on, is really totally by accident,
Yeah. So just basically going through it and doing other stuff is something that kind of, just by accidental, that's what helps the writer's block.
Yeah, and that's just me, but because it's the same, I take the same approach to writing a song in general. Like, I don't like to sit down and be like, oh, I want this to be a heavy song, or I want this to be a poppy song. I just kind of see what comes out,
No, absolutely. No, it's
kind of the same thing when I hit a block. I'm just like, whatever, move on from it. Ain't no big deal. Circle back around to it. And it'll get done eventually.
It's good to know that Dylan's got Holland's Opus in the chamber.
The American Symphony. For the first time ever.
I don't even think he wrote a song for 5 years.
So this is a question that Brian specifically asked me to ask, so I want to ask this. But before I ask it,
ghostwriting.
before I ask it, no, I'm going to ask it, and then I'm going to ask a question onto that. You wanted to ask what you guys are afraid of, and I wanted to ask in lieu of that, why did you want me to ask that? Is that something that deals with what we're talking about, or is that just something that...
I think just in light of recent events, there was a picture that was taken at our last show, where a part of my anatomy that you'd rather have covered was exposed and caught in the picture, and I've been bullied as a result of it.
Ozzy did it. Ozzy did it every night.
I don't know. I've never
that's
seen
true.
this picture.
So I think I wanted you to ask that because also that picture was taken and I've been getting beat up a little bit about it, and then also I'm missing a tooth.
Okay.
It got shot out of my face when I got hit with a paintball.
Oh shit.
Yeah, me and Joe were at a paintball event, and they start the event. You're kind of like running towards the other team with your paintball guns, and it was the first time I went paintballing.
Oh, great experience.
And yeah, it was a great first experience. And I was running next to this dude, and he's holding his gun he's holding his gun out to the side, and it went off, and it kind of went into my helmet and kind of ricocheted around, broke a tooth. So I'm missing that tooth, and they gave me a fake tooth.
Okay.
Well,
Fake teeth.
Exactly. So Dylan says fake teeth. It's really a tooth, but it's two teeth. So I wanted you to ask that because I wanted to hear Dylan's filthy mouth say he's afraid of spiders. I want the world to know.
Is this just general phobias, or?
That's a good question. I think I meant when I asked Johnny to ask it is I think maybe a little bit deeper, but I don't know.
No, that's fine, man. Like I just wanted to make sure you guys get whatever you guys wanted out into the world, but
Yeah,
like
I think.
So Brian's scared. His phobia is his butthole falling out on stage. They're being taken of it.
Butthole and his teeth falling out.
Some of my worst nightmares have come true. Yeah, well, I mean, for us I think I could answer as a group for a deeper fear is not getting to where we want to be.
oh my god.
It's not in our mind and at the rate we're going right now and at the speed we're going, I don't see that happening.
Yeah.
But you invest a lot
Yeah.
into this. If you're doing it the right way,
Absolutely.
you're investing a lot into it, and we see a lot. Our peers may not. We went through what our peers have gone through. The people that we know that are into music, they have bands. We see them making mistakes that we've made years ago, and they're making them now.
Yeah.
And we look at those mistakes, and those were things that we invested in, and it blew up, and it was it was crippling, and we moved past it. Now we're at this point now, so it looks like the future is wide open,
Yeah.
and it's ours for the taking. We just got to run and take it.
Yeah.
But you always have that nagging fear in the back of your mind that either you're not running the right way, or or something else will
Yeah, because you could be my biggest thing to piggyback on that is a fear that, like, we're looking at bands, our peers that are making what we look at as mistakes, maybe that we say mistakes we've made. It's not a thing.
Yeah.
But are we making mistakes that we don't know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
Like, are we doing something that could be hurting us? And my other bigger fear is the music not relevant enough anymore?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They always say rock is dead, but rock bands are making a living.
Yeah.
They're doing it.
Yeah.
But is it possible that the music, not that it's not relevant, but is its audience so niche that it's hard to crack that nut?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, yeah.
I think
It's
that's
fucking tough, man. It's tough to think that you do all this shit. You've got all the talent in the world. You got a label. You got fucking management. But is it possible that people not fucking going to shows anymore?
Yeah.
People staying inside and watching, like, what are we doing?
I think
Yeah.
that's a healthy fear to have, and I think that
No, absolutely.
maybe why I asked you to ask this question, because we want our fans, our followers, to know that the runway ain't lit up. You know, it's not like you get it. There's a lot of glitz and glam that people kind of assume this is what happens when you get to this point.
Mhm.
But live music is only live when there's an audience there to watch it.
Yeah.
So you gotta, if you appreciate live music, if you have fun watching live music, when those tickets come your way, May 4th.
No, yeah, plug
you
your
gotta
show in.
reach out.
That's why you're here.
You got to reach out and grab it, man, because it will die.
Yeah.
The internet is so, you go on YouTube, you could watch an entire concert from your couch.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
where do you think, where do you think the artist is making money if you're watching the concert for free from your couch? And I'm guilty of it.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Everybody is.
Of
Everybody
course.
is.
But you got to turn around and pay it. I don't want to say pay it forward, but you got to, if you love it.
Pay him.
If you love it, you have to get out there. You have to support.
Yeah.
You have to.
So, like, in a way, it's your fear that's driving your work and your creativity and everything that you want to do. So
Mind
it's
fuck.
Yeah,
pretty
just
much.
You just blew us up there, bro. That's 100% it.
How
I'm
do you
scared of
know?
that jacket.
What's that?
I'm scared of that jacket.
Yeah, what's up with that jacket?
I'm wearing it just in case we started awkwardly and we could talk about the jacket. It was not supposed to come midway through the interview.
Johnny's wearing a Santa Claus printed jacket, Dylan, just so you know.
Nice.
Yeah.
Dylan likes
Probably
it.
take it off.
I have a critter shirt under it, which
Got a
isn't
shirt
really
with
any
Christ
better.
Take it off too, bro. It's all good.
We're all friends here.
So how do you know you are where you want to be? How do you know that you've reached that point in your creative field?
See, last question. I mean,
Yeah.
it's all a guessing game, and I think, like I said, the only reason we feel so confident now is because everything that we're doing makes total sense. You get the you have a management, you have a team that backs you, that's selling you every day. You have a label that's doing the same. You have, they're shopping for an agent that gets you on tour. You go on tour, you play in front of people, you sell albums, you sell more albums, you get, it's just, it makes sense. Whereas opposed to, go back 7 years, 10 years, where we were almost signing a contract where we would have been playing music occasionally and selling toothbrushes and deodorant on the side.
Absolutely.
That didn't make sense. This is something where you're like, okay, that,
I think if you can go ahead. Yeah, that's right. I will go ahead. And it's the response that we get from our people listening to our music. It's gotten a very good response this last album. So
Great.
yeah, I think the measure of success would be if we could go. I made I said shit about Bill Dragon.
Yeah. Imagine Dragons. Imagine Dragons.
I said all that shit about playing Grammys.
William Imagine.
I don't necessarily think Nash needs to be playing Grammy fucking awards.
Ooh.
But I'd also prefer not. But I think if you could, the measure of success for me would be whenever we go to a gig in a city, in any city or town in the country or in the world, people are buying tickets to come see us without me having to come to their door for it. They are literally buying it because they saw something pop up that said, they got an email that said Nash is coming to town. They buy the fucking ticket. That to me is a measure of success because, again, you could sit there and pin it against a money thing or a fame thing and all that shit, but I think it's that you fucking walk into a city, they know you're coming, they go to buy your ticket.
Absolutely.
Like, man, let me get tickets to that show. Like any one of us would do if we saw one of our favorite bands come up. We would say, shit, man, let me get tickets to that show.
Yeah.
I think that's the fucking measure, is that we're going into any town, wherever, and we do that.
Yeah. So I think everyone heard your dissatisfaction with the Grammys. Why do you not want to play at the Grammys?
I'm joking. I would like to play at the Grammys because that's just that many more people that see your music.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We could talk about we could talk all day about awards and it's all bullshit and everything else.
Yeah.
It doesn't. Who cares, right?
Yeah.
Whether it matters or not, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Whether it's relevant, whether the things mean anything. There are bands who have not won a single piece of gold that
Absolutely.
They made a living doing music. They made a lot of people happy making music, and that's that.
I personally feel like that the Grammys kind of doesn't represent music in the way it should be.
Right.
Because, like, a prime example is the metal category is presented not even airtime. Like, it's during commercials or it's before.
Yeah.
So, if you're going to have an award show for music, it should be an award show for music.
Yeah.
If
we
it's
don't
5
play it-
hours, then it's 5 hours. You
Right.
can't.
If we don't play it, then I guess your point is that yes, it would be based on the principle of the matter
Yeah.
that you're not properly representing all types of music. But
Yeah.
then, it's a slippery slope. Because then, are you gonna have the category of the guy who goes into the woods by himself with a diaper screaming into a microphone? You know what I mean? Like this, you could argue that there's music of all types.
That's
all
true. That's
kinds.
true.
You
It's
know,
very true.
I don't necessarily have a problem with shit like that. It's just it's
Right
it's
now,
lame,
Yeah, I mean, right now you watch the show. There's not a lot of good. There's not the genres that we like aren't represented.
Yeah.
In a good way,
Yeah.
I mean, look, you give a guy like Chris Cornell, someone who had such a profound impact on music. You give him a prestigious award, present it to his kids on the fucking before the show starts.
Yeah.
On the untelevised.
Yeah.
fucking
No,
portion of the
exactly.
show. So I mean,
Because- yeah.
we can rip up and down, and then if you want to go from Grammys to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, we could do that too.
Oh God,
Tearing up those things.
Same thing with movies. Same exact thing.
I know.
Yeah.
It's
I
just
just never acknowledge them. They don't. I never watch them. To me, they don't even exist anymore. As a platform to promote your music, it's a joke.
Yeah.
Honestly, and I
No,
feel
no.
very adamant about it. I don't know. I'm not speaking for the band. I speak for myself. But
Yeah.
I know these guys agree
it's-
with a lot of it. But the politics, it's bullshit.
Oh, yeah.
The bands aren't represented at all. The people that are represented are set to brainwash you into buying albums that only have one track on it that
Yeah.
has any. None of it's good.
No, it's yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah. And Dylan is afraid of spiders.
I just wanted that.
Dylan's afraid of spiders and ghosts.
So on the subject of fear, I'm gonna talk about a little bit. My favorite song from you guys is "Scared." I'm probably gonna interpret this the wrong way. I interpret the song in kind of like a positive way because I feel like it's kind of like we were talking about how like the fear is what drives you to do what you do. I just kind of feel like in a way, "Scared" is kind of like a song that it's good to have this feeling, and usually when people say I'm scared, it's after the event of the thing that happened.
That's
because people get like discouraged, be like, oh my God, I should have been scared or whatever. And for me, I just feel like the chorus is kind of one of those things that like everybody gets to say that they're scared and it's okay to be scared. So that's just the way I interpreted it. I don't know if that's, I think that's the beauty of art. It's up for anybody. And just like how it ends, I just like, for me, again, I could be way off. It's just, for me, the ending notes it's very hopeful. It's almost like there's hope in the fear.
Yeah, it's got a positive. It's one of those songs I know Dylan likes to do this juxtaposition too, where you kind of set a gloomy song to a major a song in a major key.
Yeah.
Or vice versa. You know, and we kind of did that with "Scared" a little bit, and it does end positively. Musically, there's a it ends on a kind of a happy note.
Yeah.
I mean we got a lot of requests for that song.
I love
we
that
play.
song.
And it's again, it's one of those songs that's not super complex.
Yeah.
You know, Dylan adds something to that song live that you really have to see to you know, he does it with that and with October also.
Yeah.
And it just adds to the meat of the song sonically.
Yeah.
But
You guys should play that May 4th at Debonair, New
Yes.
Jersey, opening up for what
12 Stones.
12 Stones.
Yeah.
I forgot the name of the band.
Yeah, if you don't remember 12 Stones, the lead singer from 12 Stones was the guy
Evanescence,
in
right?
Evanescence,
Yeah, yeah.
Well, he wasn't in Evanescence, but he lended his vocals to the...
I would sing it, but I don't know if I can legally.
Shit, I never knew that.
Yeah, in that... what was the name of the song, Joe?
Bring Me to Life.
Bring Me to Life. He sings the part in Bring Me to Life.
It's on the Daredevil soundtrack with Ben Affleck, Dylan.
Ben Affleck singing that.
Yeah.
So this is a very specific question. I don't know if this was just something you didn't really think of, if there's any meaning to it, but in the middle of that song, this is very specific, so I apologize.
Yeah,
like minute, 2 minutes and 44 seconds into the song, it's kind
I
of.
love that.
I don't know if it's like the breakdown you call it. I'm not musically inclined, so I don't know
No, that's good.
any of the terms. It sounds like you are saying something in the back.
Yeah.
And I don't know if this is like a secret that I'm not supposed to know, but I was curious.
I'm surprised you caught that.
I know I
There are
can't
words there.
I can't hear Joe half the time. But I heard that. I was just curious if you were saying anything or if there's any
Yeah.
meaning to what you were.
It's...
I called Domino's.
It's James's pizza.
And the record button was on. We didn't know.
I wish it was that cool. I think we'll do that for the next album because that's fucking awesome. Yeah, Oh My God, Wake Me Up and it's very...
Oh my God, wake me up! That's what you're
Yeah.
saying. That's
yeah,
awesome.
It's very deep. It's very it's like it's whispered kind of with a little bit of bass to it. When we were doing bands record songs different ways. Some bands do it live. They play all together, and each part is recorded in a separate room. With that one, we tracked.
Okay.
So, in other words, James went. We did a scratch guitar part that was just me playing a basic, undistorted guitar part. James laid down the drums. Then I went in and I did the guitar. Then the bass player at the time played the bass part. And then we kind of added parts over it. And at the end, the way end, we did the vocals. Now, this was one of our first real deal studio experiences.
Yeah.
So, that element, and I know, Dylan has a whole excellent philosophy on recording in a studio, and we all love to do it. We all love recording in the studio. It's I mean, we would love to invite fans to and maybe we'll do that with the next album, but
Yeah, absolutely.
we did. So I'm standing in front of the mic and you're kind of like, you're sitting there and everything's already recorded, but you're sitting there with headphones on, and if for anybody who's seen us live, we're a very active band, so you kind of want to like do something while you're waiting. That line came to me while I was sitting there waiting. I didn't think it would even end up in it.
Yeah.
Like in the beginning of October, there's a yawn.
Yeah.
October.
Yeah.
That was a that was a real deal moment.
And it goes so well with the. It's almost like it's almost a completely different song if you don't hear the yawn.
I know.
That's so cool.
What's the Beatles song where?
Maxwell Silverhammer, when you hear him laughing.
Yeah,
It's at one point you hear Paul McCartney laughing, and it's because John Lennon is mooning him.
Mooning him, right?
Yeah, I love shit like that because it's one of those things where it's like I felt like I heard something. I want to go back and listen to, because I think Running with the Devil has something like people say there's like a subliminal message about his father in the Navy or something.
Yeah, there is, and there's also in Being Caught Stealing, Jane's Addiction, Being Caught Stealing. The dogs barking in the beginning of the song, somebody brought an actual dog into the studio. It started barking. They obviously caught it because the tape was rolling.
Yeah.
And they left it on. Could you imagine listening to
Yeah,
that
yeah.
song without the dogs barking?
Well, I have to admit, I don't know that song.
Well, I'll tell you the truth.
There's
I
so
don't.
many of those things with those songs.
I
especially
know.
Back then.
No,
It's
yeah,
so
yeah.
cool though. It's like such
Love
a happy
Roller Coaster.
accident, man. It
Yeah, yeah.
never made it
That's
on
apparently
there,
an
never
urban
thought
legend.
of It It just worked out
It
that
is.
way.
Yeah, and it's kind of like something
But
that
somebody is screaming on the
not
record.
everybody else knows. That's what I love about it.
There is somebody. It is an urban legend, but there is someone screaming on the actual record of.
Yeah, so
Love
what
Roller Coaster.
what James is basically talking about is on Love Roller Coaster, you hear at one point what sounds like someone is screaming.
Yeah, somebody
Apparently, it's
got
like
murdered.
it's like the person
It
who
is
is
a
on.
scream though. You're
Yeah.
making it sound
Oh,
like
yeah.
it isn't a scream.
It's
It is a
not.
scream.
Didn't the little
Penguin?
one had the pee-pee on the cover? Dude.
Shit. There goes our mermaid demographic. Yo, Johnny, you know what? Let's talk about these chairs not being comfortable. Bro. Fuck.
Meanwhile,
Sorry.
Dylan's in his underwear.
In case you forgot, Dylan is on the phone. So do you guys want to talk about anything Incredible Villains related? It's your newest album that came out. It's officially on iTunes, Spotify, all that stuff. It could be purchased. You want to talk about the process?
The numbers are fantastic.
Oh, yeah?
That's what I want to say first and foremost. The streams on Incredible Villains is skyrocketing. So
Oh,
don't
yeah?
be the only person that hasn't listened to the album yet. It's very easy to and do you have to listen to the whole album to get it? No, but you should listen to everything because Dylan's backing up.
Dylan's hot pockets are ready.
Hang on, my smoke alarm's going off.
Oh shit!
Dylan's house is burning down.
Dylan's house is on fire. It's on fire.
Dylan's
we
been
good?
scared of
Good?
spiders and fire
So fire.
spiders.
Did you guys hear my dog licking his balls before? He was sitting right by me. I didn't know if you guys were gonna hear that or not.
We thought that was you.
We got.
It was me. We were both licking our balls.
Oh, there goes the dog number.
We're just losing
balls.
everybody.
I think yeah, I mean, Incredible Villains was a phenomenal experience for us from start to finish. We recorded with the legendary Ryan Ball at Gearbox Studios. It's the album that got us signed. It's the album that got us professionally managed. It's the album that's going to get us on tour. We're crazy booked up. We have so many shows coming up. We have so many more shows to book.
I'm tired.
It's tiring just thinking about it. But you know what? It was great because the album was a joint effort from start to finish. Everybody added to what it is. It wasn't like one guy wrote and then this was a N.A.S.H. I mean, there's imprints of all of us on every song. There's Joe's singing, Dylan's singing, James's drums anything we've recorded in the past. Drum wise, it's apples and oranges.
Yeah.
You want to talk about seeing finite growth in a band? Technically, that is a good indicator, and I think the biggest thing now, for anybody listening that doesn't know, is if anybody's catching this that's fan of podcasts or fan of rock music, however this got into your hands, check our album out because it's for fans of the genre.
Yeah,
for
absolutely.
Sure. It was made for that reason.
Yeah, where did the concept of you call your fans villains? Where did that idea come from?
Well, that kind of happened organically. The name of the album came first, and we were kind of all just sitting there and we were thinking about. I think we were all talking together, and we love when a band has a name for their fans.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for a fan, it's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
I'm in the Kiss Army.
Yeah,
I'm a maggot.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, exactly.
I'm a monster.
I'm a monster.
Yeah.
I mean, it's cool to have that. You know, you're assigned a little label, and you got you're part of the band. You know.
No, absolutely.
So for us, it's you know, our fans, people that come to see us play, are so into it, you know, that and they love having that title. You could tell, you know. We hear people say it, you know. It's cool to hear it back from people. I'm a villain. So it kind of just happened organically with the name of the album.
No, absolutely.
I just wanted to add, like, Brian and I would do a lot of the talking, like, would talk on the phone a lot about what we were going to name the album. And then when he came up with the name Incredible Villains, then, like, you start coming up with the what's going to come after.
Yeah.
And somehow we came up with the villain thing. Like, we want our fan base to be villains. And I think, like, when I was thinking about it, I was doing a lot of reading on, like, anarchy.
Okay.
And how a lot of people misinterpret what anarchy actually is.
Okay.
You know, it's actually not a horrible thing to be
Yeah.
an anarchist, even though it's associated with chaos and stuff like that. It's actually not bad. It's people that go so far against the grain and are viewed as such. So that's kind of how I felt about what our fans were going to be doing by liking our band. We're so much about coming up with something with a lot of heart.
Yeah.
That the people that are choosing to listen to the music, to fall in love with our music, to follow us, and to support us are going against the grain of everything that is established today in the music industry.
Absolutely.
So we're kick-ass because of that. So. Yeah, I mean, I think it's also, you know, like the maggots and monsters. It's cool to be part of that misunderstood crowd. You know, a little bit, like, you know, that's what music is usually all about. You're trying to connect with something. You know, so I think that the villain thing was really cool. You know, there's that concept that villains are a little unbalanced. You know, I feel like they're a little more creative than the good guy. You know? I think that their stories are a little more interesting. Their lives are a little more interesting. You know, so I think it's being a villain can speak to everybody. And there goes the hero demographic.
So you guys actually have a music video, the editor on all the platforms, YouTube, right?
Yeah.
Anything else or just?
Well, you could do, I mean, like our Facebook page. You know, follow us on Instagram.
Give me all your stuff.
Facebook page is facebook.com N.A.S.H Voice. Instagram handle is at the official N.A.S.H band. You search N.A.S.H on Twitter. We're there. Use the dots in between the letters.
Holy shit, we did it to ourselves. Yeah, the official N.A.S.H band.
I'm
totally kidding. Oh my That's God, just how it happened, alright?
So, Brian, you mentioned all these social media platforms. Do you feel that sometimes with all the content that is being brought out, it could kind of, in a way, not help because there's so much coming out? So basically, you release an album, and then on the same day, 20 other people release an album. Because now it's so easy. I mean, I'm literally on my iPad making a podcast.
Yeah. Not if your content has heart.
Yeah?
Like, if you believe in your content and it's not just something to put out to make yourself relevant on a news feed.
Yeah.
It's actually something that you want out there and believe in it wholeheartedly, then it doesn't matter how many other people come out with shit. And hopefully that they're coming out with good shit too.
Yeah,
because we all love music and we like listening to music. We all love movies. We all love comic books. We all love all these things that, you know.
It's one of those things. It's a good thing, and it's as stupid as it sounds, it's a bad thing because it's so overwhelming. Because I'm watching this show and like 20 other people are like, oh, you should watch this show and this show and
I
this
know,
show. And
it's
it's
so
like,
hard
holy
to get-
shit! I only have.
We're children of the old school. We've talked about this before in other interviews too, but I mean, it's no secret that we, if we could, if we all had one wish, we would prefer it to go back to the old way where you released a CD or even a record, and you had to wait. You had to wait for a single. You had to wait for a music video. Now it's so instantaneous that you're right. It does hurt a little bit because people have full access to it right away.
Yeah.
And there's no anticipation. There's no no build up. So you have to actually. It's a rush to get your shit out.
Yeah.
You have to get it out because then if not, you're behind.
Yeah.
I mean, one thing we learned about getting the record deal and getting the management is the importance of the social media stuff. Is not that we were blind to it before all that, but you just learned how much stock is put into that shit. So,
No, absolutely.
like the Facebook page. Dylan.
You have something to say, Dylan?
No, man.
Oh.
I got a mouthful, you know what I'm saying?
So we're gonna wrap it up in a couple seconds. I just wanna. Do you have anything to say to anybody who wants to pursue a career in a band or anything in creativity and they're struggling? Is there anything that you would say to them to maybe help them out or, get them on the right track?
If they're going to compete with us,
No. We're the only ones.
Fuck them.
Done.
Fuck them.
And there goes that demographic.
There
goes everybody
else. Anybody else have ever had a dream? Yeah, I mean, I would say that I think one of my biggest regrets is just not doing everything we're doing now earlier. I think, we used to play gigs and then we divvy up the money afterwards, right? We just split it three ways when it was me, Brian, and James, and then maybe even when Dylan started, we probably...
In the beginning, yeah.
Yeah, like those first couple, we divvied it out, and that was a big mistake, because that went to buy, beer for me, dildos for Dylan, I got nothing clever for James and Brian, but that that was something that...
Because James and Brian put their money back into the band.
Oh!
But now, now it's like we have the foresight...
We bought dildos for the band.
But we now have the foresight of, of getting ahead of that, investing in the band, doing shows that make sense, doing shows that have goals and not just, not just whatever. I mean, there's a value to playing a lot, but there's also a value of choosing the right show.
Yeah.
That's probably what I'd also like to apologize to Dan Reynolds, because that's what I meant to say before.
What are you apologizing to Dan Reynolds for, bro? You want to go on a date with him?
Yeah, that's right. You're going to buy him a nice dinner.
Oh, wait a minute. We're buying the fucking dinner?
Yeah, well.
I ain't buying no dinner.
Oh, that's why I picked the Last Supper, because it's cheap.
It's only Brad, son. Somebody else brought it.
Yeah, I think Gene Simmons said it not so long ago, where he said it was if you were planning a career in music to not, because rock is, it's especially rock music. He basically dissuaded. It was a disparaging statement about musicians trying to get into the industry. And I think that's bullshit, because you know what? You're robbing yourself of not only a creative outlet like we talked about, but also the possibility. It's like lightning striking. It's like winning the lottery. You never know what if you're on a path to greatness. And I think, for us, we wouldn't have traded it for anything, in the world, and seeing the fruits of your labor.
Doing the dishes.
Yeah.
It sounds like, Dylan, it sounds like you dropped an anvil on the Roadrunner over there. You hear that noise?
Yeah. It sounds like a spittoon, like Western.
My life is a cartoon.
But yeah, that's what I would have to say. I mean, if you have even an inkling of starting a band, learning an instrument, starting to sing, acting, telling jokes on stage, or fucking sitting in your basement and starting a podcast, do it, because even if it goes nowhere, you'll have the best fucking time.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's basically what I was gonna say. Just instead of worrying about how much money you're gonna make doing it, just find something you like to do. Doesn't have to be music. Just find something that you like to do and do it for you.
Hell yeah.
And then it is rewarding. We, Brian and I especially, because we were like earlier members, my father, I guess our father knew, because he started the whole thing, is that it was something to make us happy while we were down here in the basement. And then it wasn't till later until we figured out that, signing a record deal was what we were going to do. And even then, I don't think any of us really have that dream of like owning 5 cars and a big house. And no, I want to be able to feed myself the traditional like Hot Pockets and macaroni and cheese Stofers, and not working at my job anymore.
Yeah,
that's the dream now.
Yeah.
And if I could do that while playing in front of 500 people a night, that's awesome. And it's coming true more and more the days that progress with us. And it was only later that we figured that out. So I mean, start it for you, and then if you want to pursue it to make money, get wise and figure out how to do it. Management,
Yeah.
and don't follow anybody else.
Yeah.
There is no formula. The music industry isn't the music industry anymore. You can get just as famous posting your shit to YouTube.
Absolutely. Dylan, you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, man. Just if your dream is to stand on stage facing the drummer with your entire ass out, go for it. You know what I mean?
I fucking hate you, dude. I will never live that down. This is the new tooth.
I gotta see this picture.
It's bad, bro. It's bad. Maybe we'll
hole is out.
I think it's gonna be the cover of the next album. At the rate it's
or
going.
the back.
Yeah,
the back.
definitely the back. It should be the back. No, but I mean, you're proving it right here, man. I mean, you're doing this thing.
Oh, thank you.
We know you personally, obviously, and you do your thing, and you're a true testament to, you just love to do something. You find any way to do it, and you stick true to what you believe in, and you don't fall for anybody else's bullshit. You see something wrong with what you're doing, you break away from it, you go do your own thing. That's the way to do it. And I think
thank you.
I hope people listen to you.
Yo, the front of the album should be the butt crack too. So you trip people up. They're looking at the back cover and they're like, "Oh man, let me check out the front view." And it's
and
they keep just looking. They keep turning it around.
get away from it.
Page
Like
of the
he can't
booklet
get
on the
away.
inside is the ass crack. Is the ass crack.
on the
lyrics.
front, can you turn my head
Maybe
around,
the
James?
keys.
Like at my face.
So you guys, to kind of make money, it's kind of like a side thing. You guys play at bars and do cover songs. So I was wondering, what's a cover song you guys would like to do that you don't do?
Oh, Jesus.
Obviously, everyone can have an individual answer. Does anything? It could be
I'm just
because
gonna start it off. I don't have mine yet, but I just want to start off. We're not gonna be the band that breaks like mainstream because we stole someone else's material.
Yeah.
And doing a cover song and recording it, I feel, especially when you're like certain bands that just recently came out with an entire cover song album and didn't change a single thing about the songs and just redid what the owners of those songs, and I'm not talking about like to me Newfound Glory and stuff like that. They're releasing an album.
Yeah.
They always make it theirs.
Yeah, you guys do too.
And their concern isn't about moving their band ahead. It's about just having a good time writing
writing a cover album and doing it the they do their own thing, but there are certain bands that literally do the exact same song, trying to pass it off like they wrote it, and I just think it's a cheap way to do that. And we're not going to be that band.
No.
Okay. No, absolutely.
And when we do a cover, we make it our own.
No, absolutely.
Oh man, I think if we could do a cover song to the letter, just live, just playing, I would love to do. I've always wanted to sing "Cowboys from Hell."
Oh my god, that was
Ooh.
one of mine too.
Oh man.
Cowboys from
Oh
Hell,
my
man.
god, note for note,
Yeah.
lyric for lyric, I think
I'd be down.
fucking.
I don't know what I'd be down for. I'm not in the band.
It'd be torture for me, but it'd be fun.
I know, it would be, I know.
Fucking 3 years to learn the guitar.
Sweeps for days.
Oh man, I don't know. Cowboys from Hell's a good one.
What about Imagine Dragons? Well, you do Imagine Dragons.
I think Dylan would love to do What I Got.
By some live, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I've that's a tough one to me because I have a tough time thinking of one that we'd also be adjusting to fit our thing. I have these dreams of taking covers and just like utterly changing it. Like,
Yeah.
like Bohemian Rhapsody, to the point where something clever enough where you change the operatic version part
Yeah.
to a rock thing
Yeah.
that's manageable, right?
Yeah,
The opera
yeah.
shit right now is barely, could we? Because I think we do really well. I think we could probably pull it off, but I think even in reinventing it so it's so completely different that people won't be pissed
Yeah.
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
we're changing it, because that's borderline blasphemy.
Yeah.
But also something very different.
Yeah.
You
We got a surprise guest, Joe Koza.
Oh shit! Oh shit! What up, dude?
Joe Koza.
What the fuck are you doing here?
I pulled reasons.
So I feel like that's a good point you make, though. If you're gonna do a cover, there's no reason just to do the same song.
Yeah.
It's just pointless, which I think you guys do a very good job at. You make the song your own, almost to the point where people are gonna be like, all right, yeah, he's his brother, so obviously. But like sometimes I'll listen to the actual song and I'll go like, this song's great, but it's kind of boring,
Yeah,
you
Marie
know?
says that too.
Because like you guys like amp it up so well when you do it at the bars and all that.
Sometimes it's just out of necessity or lack of being able to do the actual version, you know?
Yeah.
You start off really wanting to stay true because people expect a certain thing and then you wind up doing something completely different.
Yeah.
And it ends up working.
Did everybody go?
You and Dylan are left.
Dylan, do you want to go?
No, I mean, I think it depends on the song. Like, I always liked what Van Halen did with Pretty Woman by Roy Orbison.
Oh,
Holy
yeah.
shit!
They
Yeah.
really didn't fucking change that song.
No.
They barely even amped it up, really. But somehow it's like their own. I don't know. It's kind of a fucked up question, but like, not to critique your question asking, but I really don't like this one. I don't want to answer it. Please don't ever ask me this again. But the real answer, probably, I've always wanted, and it's one of the things we'll do. We'll probably try it once, and it'll be a train wreck. We'll never do it again. But just for like to please me, I've always wanted to try doing Roses by Outkast.
Okay.
Oh, yes.
I think that
We
would be
started
a
to do
badass
that.
song to like play as a rock band.
Yeah. We have to
But
revisit that.
it might also sound like
Tonight.
distortion parts with drums in the background.
So if you guys cover this, it's technically because of me, because I asked this question, Dylan.
Yeah, there you go. So?
Debatable.
Dylan.
Mine is the best one. It's Patrick Swayze's song, She's Like the Wind, from the Dirty Dancing soundtrack. I've been wanting to get it on an album of mine forever.
All right, it would definitely be different.
So I'm using this band to start my own project where I come out with She's Like the Wind.
Right
It's going to
on.
be the first single off of James's rap album.
Mumble rap album.
All right, so I
But I'm fucking serious about that.
I know you have a very, for anyone who can't
Like you're
see.
laughing, but I'm serious.
Yes, I see that you're extremely serious. So kind of
Right, but we're laughing at you, not with you.
So kind of like I want to do 2 things before I let you guys go. Thank you guys for doing this. This was awesome.
Thank you, man.
This is exactly how I wanted this to go, minus the whole mess up with the fucking thing. So I want to see how much you guys know your own stuff, and I'm gonna basically quiz you.
Oh boy.
And I feel like I'm gonna get yelled at if I get anything wrong.
We're
Or
definitely gonna delete this part.
Go
so
ahead while my phone's still.
We're definitely gonna edit this out, right? Get it?
yeah.
Yeah.
And whoever gets the most right, I'll give $1 or 2.
Ooh.
So, aside from Fair Verona, what other Shakespeare name is referenced in Incredible Villains?
Ophelia.
Yes. Between Regain the High Ground and Incredible Villains, what song alphabetically is first?
Wait, what?
What?
Abandoned.
Ooh.
Yeah, Dylan got it right.
Yes, you
Yeah.
got it. Abandoned Hope.
I was. Were you
Yeah.
gonna say it, just Brian?
No.
Oh.
Dylan was right with Abandoned Hope. I was gonna say it just, but AB.
What song is track 6 on Incredible Villains?
Give and take. No, give and take.
No.
Shit.
Reach.
No.
No.
Nope. Only can answer
Cellar
once.
door.
Give and take.
No.
Now he said escape. No.
It's cellar door.
Yeah, James got it right, but
James
you're only
got it.
supposed to answer
Fuck.
once, you dick.
Well, there's only 4 members of the band. Joe's over there thinking.
Chocoza could have answered.
I don't know if I should say it.
Joe Koza's actually, he's a good friend of the band. He's filled in for James
Yeah.
sometimes, so he's a really good... Joe, you can say hi.
What's up, everybody?
There he is. How many times is Gabriel shouted in Gabriel's Chaos Theory?
Oh my God! Really?
Yeah!
It's not hard. I was going to say the same thing. I mean, you don't do the shouting, so. Or no, yeah, I just got the tattoo, so you better find it.
Yeah, you should fucking know it.
That's what made me thought of it. All right, hopefully you all know this. According to iTunes, Incredible Villains was released and ready to be purchased what year?
2018.
Yes.
Wait, what did everyone say? August
2018.
2018. I don't know who the winner is.
Somebody said 2019.
You said 2019?
No.
I
Oh.
said August
Everybody
20th, 2018.
Oh.
I should get extra credit for saying August.
Well,
August
every
24th.
you know what, Johnny? Keep your $1 because I'm super proud of everybody answered one question at least.
That's
Yeah.
true. That's very true.
That's fucking.
All right, and this is your opportunity. I'm going to let you guys name the episode that this is going to be. So whatever comes out of your
Oh my
mouth is
gosh.
going to be the name of the episode. Try to stray away from companies and
Jim Bobby's like the wind.
Jim Bobby's like the wind.
Imagine bragging.
Imagine
both-
bragging.
Imagine like we're bragging about the. Go on to the next guy.
I think I like that one.
Johnny's podcast and Dylan's Fear of Spiders.
Where did I buy
Brian
this coat?
escaping ass crack.
What did you say, James?
Where did I buy that coat?
Where did I buy that coat? I think I like Imagine Bragging. It ties,
Yeah.
it ties the whole thing.
Yeah.
The first question, it ties everything together.
Yeah, I think I'm voting for that. That sounds pretty good. 'Cause we're bragging a little bit, and Joe hates Imagine Dragons.
Joe hates the band he covers.
Joe hates a lot of things, apparently.
All right,
I
guys.
hate little people. I just referenced the Wizard of Oz hanging.
Yes, of course.
Bro, we're trying to edit that part out, and you keep
Yeah.
bringing it up.
Edit it
Take
again.
away.
No, I don't edit it.
Edit it again.
Joe's a nice guy, except he fucking sprained my foot. You know?
Man, I wish I could hear that story. All right, guys. Well,
Cool,
thank
man.
you again. Dylan, thank you for calling, and it's great to hear
Yeah.
you eat dinner and
Thank
do
you.
the dishes.
What's your sign-off quote for?
Ooh, yeah.
I don't know.
You should come up with one.
I know.
Come on with it right now.
What?
Right now.
Thanks for listening.
That's the way the cookie crumbles.
Thanks for cringing.
Oh shit, I like that.
Thanks for cringing.
Thanks for cringing.
Got all the ideas.
For sure.
You don't
All right, we're good, right?
Yeah.